Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to this weekly 4-week review of the Profit Retriever and all the different currency pairs, gold, metal, index, you name it, that we are currently trading. We're going to show you in here exactly how they have been developing, and it has been a positive week. Things are going in the right direction again. So let's have a look at both the top 10 results for the last 4 weeks so you can get a good steady view of what is actually moving at the moment. And on top of this, it is also weekend, which means we're going to have a look at the top 5 in the last week. As always, the Profit Retriever, you cannot look at the individual days and not even always individual weeks. You have to step back a bit, but the top 5 gives you a good indication of what you should be looking at. So that is currently doing quite well. And if we have a look at the first one, the Aussie Japanese number 2 here, Signal, $708 in the last week, which is quite good and substantially better than the rest of them. 7.1%. Definitely approved. It is working quite well, the new signal we set up here. And we can also see that Bitcoin USD is continuing to thrive. So even though we have seen some massive jumps in the Bitcoin, it seems like the Profit Retriever is tracking those quite nicely. $466 in the last week, or 4.7%. We do believe we're going to put this one back on again. So for the copy link service in the near future, we'll ask Alex and Expert Forex to do that for us. US 30 index number 2 here also, $428 or 4.3%. Continues to do quite well here. USD CAT, $314 or 3.1%. And then we have the Aussie USD number 2, also tracking quite well, $312 or 3.1%. Total in the top 5 for the last week here, $2,227 or 4.5%. So very good indication of things are actually moving in the right direction again. And if you want to see more on that, this is the best place to go. This is part of our website. We will have the links in the description below. You can always go in and double check all the numbers that we are providing in these videos and in our post. You can have a look which ones you want, or after you have basically reviewed this video, you can go back and see if we are correct. Have a look at the data that is now covering more than a year for a lot of these EAs and see if this is something you want to trade. If you want to trade it, we can even show it to you also here within the Profit Retriever portfolio, where we put more than 20 EAs together for you to see how they develop and how it actually looks when you are trading the Profit Retriever in a bigger portfolio. And we also try to give you some guidelines as to if you are trading indexes or metals, you need a different account size. That is either with real money, as we speak about, or if it's in a cent account, you can actually get away with quite a lot less. We give you more information on this particular part if you are interested. So let's go and have a look at the top 10 for the last 4 weeks, and the results seems to be improving. So when we look at the top 10 accounts, it's always good to see number 1 to 10 here we have on the side. We also have our FS Blue links and the copy trading link, so either account or the copy blue link here. And then we have the different currencies, so our index, as you can see here, 2 indexes is actually in the top this particular week. And then we have the last 4 weeks that we are looking back at with the also the total sum. And then we have a top 5, which we're going to get back to here a bit later. So the first one is US 32. So, and that was actually number 1 also last week, despite we having a week 16 where it was in a small drawdown. But if you remember here, we mentioned sometimes that especially the indexes, they can go into a bit of a sleep mode. So they can go into drawdowns, and then all of a sudden they come back with a vengeance. They do quite well. And the US 30 was no different here, with more than $400 in the last week. Total sum over that particular 4-week period, 1,287, or more than 12.8%. So definitely that is approved. The next one is the FTSE, and that has actually been working its way up here through the ranks. Last week it was number 3, now it's number 2, and you can see it's continued to cash in every single week, which is obviously the best thing. It's very nice to see that stable income coming. And overall it has done $1,164 or 11.65%, which is definitely also approved. The next one is Aussie Japanese number 2. So this is a newer signal. It is several months old, but it's doing quite well. We can see it was in a drawdown in week 16, like so many other ones were, but it's come back with a vengeance, and it was actually the top one, as you saw here before, with $707. Overall, it has made also here more than $1,000 and more than 10% for the 4 weeks, and that is definitely up there, enough to give it also a top 5 position. And then we have the Aussie USD that is cashing in, another one every single week. It is down from number 2 spot last week because it only made $112 in week 17. But the good part here is cashing in every single week. That's really what we want to try and see. Overall, it's still good, $965 in 4 weeks, or 9.66%. So another very well and done signal. Aussie USD 2 is coming right after it. It was in number 5 last week, so basically stayed there. And also this signal here is cashing in every single week, and that is really what we want to see. Also, this can actually show you a bit on when you are trying the profit retriever on the same currency, but you're starting at different times with different time frames. You can still see that it is going quite well. Both of them are going well, and they are very close in overall profit over the 4 weeks. The other one here, number 2, with $951, or 9.5%. And that basically concludes the top 5 that we have in here. You can see in the bottom that the top 5 actually made $5,374, or 10.75%, if you would have been trading these 4 over the last 4 weeks. So definitely that is a good and stable income. Bitcoin here is the one also on the move at the moment, and we are quite surprised, even though we saw in the beginning when we set it up, it worked quite well. Then it went into a range of drawdowns. Since then, we made a few adjustments, and it seems like it's doing quite well now, even though the Bitcoin price has jumped up plus and minus several $1,000s. And we can see that only in week 15, we had a small drawdown here. It came back, and week 17, a really nice one with $465. Overall, $707, or 7.7%. So also a very good one. British pounds USD, number 2 is linked number 100C here, and that was number 8 last week. So it's moved forward just a bit. Also this one here, even though it didn't make too much in weeks 14, it has cashing in several $100s every single week, and end up with $766, or 7.66%. So also extremely stable signal. New Zealand USD is link 37C. That was number 6 last week, and this is one of the signals that continues also to deliver. Week 17, of course, was a bit of a disappointment. Not much trading and only $5.82. Not much, but overall, the individual parts for the 4 weeks ends up still at $685, or 6.85%. So it's still recovering quite nicely and hasn't gone into any major drawdowns. Euro USD is another signal, and I promise you we will put some of these account links. We will put them on the copy link service because, as you can see, they are doing extremely well. Even though Euro USD is down in 9th spot, it was actually in 13th the week before. And we can see it's cashing in every single week at the moment and doing $419, or 4.2%. And that has been in the difficult environment that we have seen in the last months. Euro New Zealand is another one, 56C. And that one here is normally one that is cashing in all the time. And we can see that it actually managed to get still within the top 10. It was number 7 last week. And it has been in a drawdown. So for quite a few weeks here now, the New Zealand dollar has really lost out. But we can see this particular week, it is starting to recover again. The drawdown is actually getting less and less from what we can see. But you would still have made $400 in the last 4 weeks if you would have had this signal here, or just over 4%. If we have a look at the individual weeks, we can see that we were on a deteriorating scale, basically going downwards here. So from week 14, we made 2,328, or 2.3%. And then week 15, 16 is pretty much similar results here. So with $1,660 on each of them. And now we can see that some of the signals has actually come back. They are revived. They are cashing in again. And this particular week, if you would have set your money on all these 10, you would have had $2,768 or made 2.77%. Not bad, so for the week. But if we look at the overall picture, the total sum for these 10 signals over the last 4 weeks, it would have made $8,417 or 8.4%. And that is definitely quite well when you're talking about the portfolio trading and the way the market has treated the profit retriever here in the last couple of weeks. So as you can see, the results are improving again. We can see some reversal in some of the trends here now, which means that the profit retriever should and will pick up again eventually. We still have some issues, especially on metal and indexes, where it takes quite a long time to turn it around. One of the best ones that we can see is gold is actually getting closer and closer to closing off here. And obviously we will take a closer look next week again, see if this has improved, if we can come back to some kind of profit on the ones that's been hanging out there for weeks and weeks. So I hope you enjoyed this video here. Don't forget that this is for your information only, and you yourself has to go in and weigh up the basically trading signals. This is only for your information, so this is definitely not a recommendation on how you should trade it, but it gives you a good indication of what can actually be done with the profit retriever. Doesn't really matter if you want to trade it yourself or you want to use Expert Forex copy link service. You always have to do your own risk assessment, risk analysis, and from there on you can basically start trading or moving on to something else. So I hope this was valuable information once again this week. And we will do it next week again. So hope to see you there. Bye-bye.